Ever wondered what it's really like? Being in charge of a whole mining operation, hundreds of feet underground, where the stakes are high and the pressures, well, even higher. Today, we're going deep, beyond the hard hat, past the headlamps, to explore what it takes to be a mine supervisor. And we've got RoleCatcher.com as our guide for this one.
And it's a good time for this, honestly. Mining's changing fast. All this new tech, new challenges popping up left and right. This deep dive into being a mine supervisor couldn't be more relevant.
RoleCatcher calls it this mix of, like, management, safety, and knowing how to get the goods out of the ground. Imagine juggling a team, schedules, safety protocols, all while making sure those resources are extracted. And I mean efficiently. That's a lot more than just, hey team, let's do this, right?
No kidding. What gets me about RoleCatcher's take is the sheer scope of the mine supervisor's job. They're the bridge, right, between the workers and the big bosses up top. You need serious leadership chops, A&D, the technical know-how, and it's bigger than just what's under our feet, too. RoleCatcher makes it clear. Environmental sustainability is huge EE in mining now. And guess who's critical to making those practices happen? Mine supervisors. They're shaping the industry's future.
Sounds like a heavy load to carry, no pun intended. And speaking of heavy, RoleCatcher doesn't try to hide the tough parts of this job. Yeah, the salary's good, job security's there, but they're upfront about the physical demands, long hours, the risks that just come with mining. Not for everyone, that's for sure.
Nope, not at all. And that's where understanding the work environment is so key. RoleCatcher lays it out. Underground versus surface mining, each with its own challenges. They don't sugarcoat working with massive machinery, the potential hazards, the noise, dust, tight spaces. You got to be tough, adaptable, and okay with a little risk if you're going to hack it.
Okay, so you're up for a challenge, you can handle some dust. What skills do you actually need for this? RoleCatcher lists all sorts of degrees, mining engineering, geology, even business administration. But in such a hands-on field, is a degree the only way in?
A degree helps, sure, but RoleCatcher really hammers home that nothing beats experience. Internships, entry-level jobs, that's where you learn the ropes, the stuff they can't teach you in a classroom. In fact, they've got this whole example profile section, and there's this one mine superintendent who started as a laborer, worked his way up, proving dedication and on-the-job learning can be just as valuable as any fancy degree.
I like that. Seeing those real-world paths is inspiring. And speaking of paths, RoleCatcher maps out the whole career trajectory, starting out all the way up to, like, top dog mine superintendent. Definitely not a dead-end job, that's for sure. Lots of room to grow, right? Got to climb that ladder. But how do you stand out, especially when everyone's got experience in this field?
That's where networking comes in,
Yeah.
and mentors. RoleCatcher really pushes that. Having someone show you the ropes, open some doors, they've got these example profiles, and you see it firsthand. People getting ahead because they had someone in their corner.
Yeah.
It's not always what you know, but who knows what you can do, you know?
Make those connections, show what you're made of, and nothing's scarier than an interview, right? Especially for a tough job. Well, RoleCatcher's interview prep section, it's got the goods, not your typical dress nice, make eye contact stuff. They get it. Mining throws curveballs. You got to think on your feet.
Exactly. They have this one question really sticks out. It's all about how you handle a crazy situation down in the mine. Not some textbook answer. They want to see if you can adapt, think clearly, and above all, keep everyone safe. That's the key.
Talk about pressure. So how do you practice for that? Well, this is cool. RoleCatcher has these AI-powered interviews. Basically, they use tech to simulate real-life mine scenarios. You get to practice your responses, get comfy with the pressure, all in a safe space. Like having a cheat code for job interviews, almost.
Preparation is everything, right? And this goes back to what RoleCatcher says about showing your skills all along the way. Build that portfolio. Your problem solving, your wins, your dedication to safety. Prove you're not just going through the motions, you're excelling in a tough field.
We've talked a lot about the human side of things, but gotta address the elephant. Or maybe the giant robot arm in the room, right? Automation, data, it's changing everything about mining. What's that mean for a mine supervisor these days?
It's evolving, that's for sure. RoleCatcher talks about how technical skills are more important than ever now. Knowing the mine isn't enough, you got to speak tech, analyze data to make things run smoother. Heck, you might even be managing robots A&D people someday.
A whole new frontier down there. And speaking of new, RoleCatcher brings up this big trend. Sustainability. This isn't your grandpa's mine anymore, is it?
Not even close. The pressure's on for mines to be environmentally sound, and guess who's responsible for making that happen? Mine supervisors. RoleCatcher makes it clear it's part of the job description now. Managing waste, saving water, sticking to all those regulations. You need that environmental know-how, got to be ethical, find that balance between production and the planet. Not always easy.
We've covered a lot today. The ins and outs of being a mine supervisor, the good, the bad, and how the whole industry's changing. So if we had to pick one takeaway, one golden nugget for our listeners thinking about this career path, what would it be?
Honestly, it's all about being able to roll with the punches. This industry, it's changing like crazy. New tech, sustainability, you name it. And the ones who thrive, they're the ones who can adapt. RoleCatcher's big on continuous learning, always leveling up your skills. It's not enough to just keep pace anymore. Got to be ahead of the game.
Really got to dig deep, huh? And not just for the minerals this time. Well, as we climb back up to the surface from this deep dive into the life of a mine supervisor, something to think about. RoleCatcher, they talk about how automation, robots, all that's only going to get bigger in mining. So what happens to the mine supervisor a few years down the line? Do they become like data gurus, strategists calling the shots from some high-tech control room? Makes you wonder as the industry keeps evolving.
It does, it does. Mining's got a bright future, but so much is unknown. That's what's so cool about it. You're drawn to a challenge, you're hungry to learn, to adapt. Being a mine supervisor, it's a front row seat to a field that never sits still.
And on that note, time to wrap up this deep dive. Hope you dug up some valuable insights on what it takes to be a mine supervisor, the challenges, the rewards, the whole shebang. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, there's always something new to uncover.